Welcome to the Net Front Presence. I'm Jeff Gordon, the Post Dispatch, joined by our beat reporter Matthew DeFranks, and let's jump right to it. Hey, Four Nations face-off. That's not you're an all-star. Not an all-star game, my friend. What'd you think? I had a flashback to the Chuck Norris division days, and man, 3 fights in 9 seconds, all instigated by kids that grew up in St. Louis. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was quite an opening. And honestly, I'm sitting at home watching it and it's pretty exciting. You have all this hype for this game. First time in 9 years or best on best US Canada, and even 9 years ago at the World Cup, like that wasn't even best on best. You had the, Team North America in there that had a lot of the young superstars on that under 23 team. So this is the first time since what, maybe the Sochi Olympics that truly Canada and America had, their best rosters available to them. And so I think that kind of already impacted the hype that I had going into the game. And then, the Matthew Tkachuk fight starts off and like, oh man, this is gonna get pretty rowdy. And then Brady follows it up, and then JT Miller, he drops his glove and just waits for someone else to join him. And Colton Parayko ended up being the dance partner. So yeah, I mean, definitely a start to the game that will be remembered for a long, long time. And I think it helped the fact that the game kind of followed up with that, like the hits that some guys were laying, McAvoy hitting McDavid twice in that first period after he got danced. And then, Brady Tkachuk later on in the forecheck, putting Drew Doughty sideways into the boards. Like those are big boy hits, and it's helpful that the game followed up the fights and with the proper physicality within the sport, right? Like that's part of the game as well. And uh, yeah, I think it was a fun game to watch, and I think it just sets it up for Thursday as well.
I think fans obviously just were thrilled, and the players enjoyed the chance to have that stage. Now, if you're a general manager and you're seeing your star players getting rocked out there, and McAvoy later gets rocked, and this could be quite costly to the Bruins. Guys are getting banged up left and right. They're blocking shots. Superstars are playing on the third and fourth line. In some cases, not superstars, but stars are blocking shots. The guys are driving each other into the boards. You had a bunch of fights, and you're a general manager or you're president of hockey operations. You're probably not as having as much fun watching these teams go at it as fans were.
Yeah, I think if you had a player on Team USA and you were watching the Sweden game on Monday, you probably got to be holding your breath, right? You see Matthew Kachuk's not playing, Matthews isn't playing, McAvoy's not playing, Trocheck leaves, Brady Kachuk leaves, like, and looking back at it now, seeing the statement that the Bruins released this morning about Charlie McAvoy, and when he first injured his shoulder, that led to his hospitalization in Boston, it was in the Finland game. And so he hurts his shoulder in the Finland game, fights through it enough to play against Canada, play physically against Canada. And that's sort of an indication of what the games have meant, right? Where this guy, he gets hurt in the first game of the tournament, plays another game with this injury, and now suddenly, he's in the hospital for an infection to for his right shoulder injury. So that's kind of indicative of how it how much it means to the players. And yeah, you're right. If you're a GM and you're sitting there watching, it's got to be a tough watch, I'm sure. When you have already so many guys that have gotten injured that aren't playing in the tournament. Whether it's Haston or whether Makar got sick or whether Quinn Hughes may or may not be joining Team USA for the final. Like, there's a lot of guys that have been in or out or hurt, and even if you're Vegas right now, you look at Shea Theodore and you're like, well, that was one of our top defensemen. Our other top defenseman decided not to play in this tournament because he's also hurt. So, uh, yeah, it's tough because these are intense games, and I guess the injuries have kind of shown it too.